as I showed earlier in the tutorial, iPhoto comes with built-in support for GPS locations of your photos. This is a really cool feature that you can use to just track all the locations that you've been to, and even add some cool effects with slideshows, as I'll show you later on in the tutorial. But not many cameras, at least not many entry-level cameras, come with built-in GPS support. So you might find that once you've imported your photos, you want to apply the GPS information afterwards. And there's a few ways we can do that with iPhoto. What I have here is I have 3 photos that already have GPS information applied, and then I have 4 photos that have no GPS information. The first thing I can do is I can select all the 4 photos so that they're all from the same location, and I can come here to the right hand corner, the bottom right hand corner, and I can assign a place simply by clicking in and typing the name of the location. In this case it was the F&B Stadium, and it brings up the results, and I can just select it and it will automatically add the tag information to those photos. Another way that you can add tag information, sometimes the search feature doesn't always work and it doesn't bring up the correct location. You can select a photo that has the correct information, and you can right click and say copy, and then what you just need to do is press escape to come out of full screen. Or in fact, let's just check something. I believe if you hover at the top, that's right, if you go to the top of your screen, you'll see that your menu bar comes back. So you still have access to your menu bar, and then you can select the photos that you need the GPS information. You can go to your menu bar and you can say edit, paste location, and now you see the GPS information has been added to those other 4 photos. So now if we go out of all events and I click on places, I now see the location of where I've been. And because the only photos I have in my library currently are from the same location, that's the only location that's displayed on my map. Now if I go back to events and I go to some other photos, in this case all 6 of these photos have no GPS information, so I'll just select them all, and they were taken in Dresden, which is in Germany, Saxony, Germany, so I will just select those. I'll select that information. Now it gets applied. Now I can go out of all events and go back to places, and you can now see my map displays that it zooms to fit all the places I've been, and it displays the locations of my photos. iPhoto 11 comes with the ability to create slideshows from selected photos. What we can do with these slideshows is we can export them to a movie, and so we can use them to create really cool presentations for events, birthday parties, even weddings that require very little effort but look really, really good, and you can customize them in a very simple way. The only thing is, I'm not sure why, but the ability to create a slideshow from within full screen mode seems to be disabled. So if I click File in the menu bar and I try to click New Slideshow, it's grayed out. But if you exit full screen mode, then it becomes a possibility. So you just select the photos you want and click New Slideshow, and I'm just going to title that Soccer World Cup and Dresden. Okay, and you see that the title automatically appears in my slideshow, and I can now apply a theme. So I can choose, let's say, a places, seeing as these are 2 very different places. I'll choose that. You just have to wait for it to download maps. Okay, and I can also choose music that I want to play. So let's see what it's playing. Okay, that's fine, I'll leave that. I can also double click in the main window if I want to change the title. I can just type in whatever I want. Then we have some settings available to us where we can choose the duration of the slideshow, or at least the shortest duration of a photo that should be displayed. We can ask it to fit music to the slideshow so that the slide durations will be adjusted to make the slides play for as long as the music plays. We can show title slides or take it off, and we can choose to repeat the slideshow or not. Then you can also choose the aspect ratio, which you'll need to choose if you want to export this to play on a certain device. So if I wanted this slideshow for my iPhone, I can choose an iPhone aspect ratio so it fits the screen, or the iPad or TV, or the computer, or my screen. And then we have some settings directly for this individual slide. And then we can see each slide, and again we have control over the titles in each slide. Then we have the photos. Okay, so now I want to play the slideshow. Okay, so as you can see, the quality of the slideshow is really great. And you can also customize it by dragging photos around your timeline as you need. So it'll automatically recalculate and adjust as needed. So in this case, I dragged a photo from Germany into the section with the FIFA World Cup photos. And so it adjusted to add some new maps and stuff. So I'll just undo that. Okay, so once you're happy with your slideshow, you have the option to export it, and you can automatically send it to iTunes if you want, or you can export it to just any location on your computer that you please. So I can just export it to my desktop, but I can also choose the different sizes. So if it's meant just for my mobile device, I can choose that. You can export it to multiple resolutions at the same time, and it'll create new files for each size. Or you can do custom export, where you can use custom settings to export your file. So in this case, I'm not really happy with the theme, so I'm just going to click on themes, and I think I'm going to choose sliding panels instead. Choose. So I'm just going to preview it quickly. Okay, so I like that, and I'm going to export it to my desktop. So now we can see a standard MPEG file that's been created on my desktop, and I can just take this and play it back on any device that I need for whatever the reason was that I created it. And you see that it automatically gets added to iTunes because I checked the option to have it automatically added, and now the file's ready to be played.